Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Above the sky, the dark clouds were very low, and a lot of raindrops fell wanton. The whole world, at this time, seemed to be plunged into a dark dusk. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Wow. On the sea, the storm resents the huge waves, and the whirring wind is like a life-killing weapon. Creak, creak. A large number of ships docked around the experimental island. Anchors made of pure steel were pierced deep on the beach. Under the frantic impact of the storm, these ships kept shaking and creaking. Some of the larger ships swayed, and on the deck, a plank was lifted, which was equipped with several rows of cannon barrels, emitting puffs of white smoke. Even if the storm was raging wildly, the smoke did not dissipate. On the battleship, booming. Through the video, the head of the mercenary base can feel the tragic explosion on the experimental island through the screen. Brothers, good walk today. Your sacrifice is valuable. Those mutant beasts, even if they get their genes, they have to be destroyed. For humanity. Hee hee. It's ridiculous. We did so many bad things, and in the end we were saving humanity. Muttered in his mouth. Especially when he said the last sentence, there was a sense of hysteria in the eyes of the person in charge. The index finger tremblingly pressed a red button. Laugh. A special waveband that cannot be seen by the naked eye flew out at the speed of light, and all the smart electronic devices instantly received the instructions. Whoosh whoosh. A large number of shells continued to be dumped from the ship and from the drone. The explosion continues. In the battleship, the high levels could not see any emotions on their faces. Indifferent, cold. Through the video, after watching a large number of mercenaries and mutant beasts were slaughtered, except for the muscles on their faces twitching a few times from time to time, their heartbeats did not accelerate. When murder became a habit, when death became the ultimate destiny, even if their hearts were made of meat, they would be as cold as rocks. On the experimental island, booming. After a large number of bombs were dumped, the normal battle scenes were instantly disrupted. Flesh and blood fly. The smell of gunpowder smoke spread wildly, and both the mutant beasts and the mercenaries who survived were doing their best to survive. Of course, in the middle of the experimental island, after the bombing started, Wangwon, Chunhwa, looking for pleasure, these 9 pythons actually felt danger for the first time. Their reaction is fast. Although human weapons are powerful, but for more than 10 days, they have not been idle. While keeping the mutant beasts and controlling the entire island, they dug many caves on the experimental island. The explosion has just begun. All the pythons are hidden in the cave. As for the other mutant beasts, they can't control that much. Experimental island. With the Snake Clan living and preserving strength as the first element, especially after the baptism of finished medicines, they all have a sense of wisdom and are very smart. Human weapons have devastating attack power. At this time, if everyone rushed out, not only would it not be of much help, but the sacrifice would increase afterwards. Battle. It is about winning. Going out without a chance, pretending to have the courage to sacrifice your life, that is an act of. In an explosion-proof cave, the Snake Clan all hid, but this did not hinder the communication between the 9 pythons. Those humans are too hateful. What shall we do next? If we continue to be bombarded by them, we will definitely die. Even if we can survive, once the king returns, we will find that the entire experimental island has been completely unrecognizable. Think about it. Chi-Chi. Wangwon spit out the letter and said with some fear. Booming. The sound fell, and a bomb exploded directly on Wang Wen's cave. The huge impact and vibration caused Wang Wen's body to suffer terrible compression. Fortunately, after devouring the prey, Wang Wen evolved stronger. This kind of injury had no other effect besides causing him physical pain. I can only wait. Look for an opportunity. Kill it. If such a weapon occurs, there must be humans in control, as long as the source is destroyed. I also support killing out. If the king was there, that would be great. Hidden like this is definitely not a way. Chunhwa, joyous and happy, said one after another. Spit out the letter. When they said these words, they were murderous. Since the integration of the resources on the experimental island and the use of monkeys to catch fish in the sea and feed the entire island creatures, all the mutant beasts on the island belong to the snake tribe in the eyes of manhwa and pleasure-seeking. Private property. Even if it is just an innocent death, that is not allowed. Today, these human beings relied on the advantage of weapons to capture the experimental island at first, but under the disparity in numbers and individuals, they failed miserably. However, these human beings are too hateful. After the defeat, they directly used terrorist weapons to attack. The individual no longer comes out to fight at all. This situation makes them totally unbearable. You must go out. But now it's obviously not an opportunity. Keep waiting. There are bombs everywhere outside. If you go out, there is only one dead end. Wang Wen's voice was cold. As Yi Bei's apostle, when Yi Bei was away, he took charge of the entire snake group. Of course, in terms of strength, only it can convince the crowd. Compared with the wit of the snakes, hiding in caves and avoiding fighting. At this moment, the golden lion is much more tragic. Ho ho ho. Leading the mutant lion group, the huge body of the golden lion constantly shuttles on the experimental island. With his mouth open, there were bursts of angry roars. The golden lion has also been transformed by the finished evolution potion. Its IQ is not low at all now. Naturally, it will only cause death if it is rushing outside. However, it is impossible for him to hide directly like a snake clan. Into the cave. The king of the jungle. The golden lion has his own dignity. Even if it is death, it must be killed frantically. Anyone who dares to provoke him and challenge his authority, no matter what kind of creature it is, all will die. If Yi Bei hadn't directly used the apostles' quota to subdue the golden lion, but wanted to use force, I am afraid it would not be possible at all. Ho ho ho. The roar continued. Greeting the heavy rain, the huge body of the golden lion turned into a golden shadow. Bombs fall from the sky from time to time. With keen intuition, the golden lion dodged one bomb after another. Booming. The explosion resounded around it. Even after hiding, the aftermath of the explosion and the flying fragments still scarred him. As for the mutant lions following him, they were not as lucky as him. At least 10 mutant lions were blown into minced meat by bombs. The scene was tragic. Ho ho ho. Whizzing. Angry. Red eyes. The golden hair was thoroughly drenched by heavy rain. The fragments of the bomb flew out, constantly impacting his body, bloody. However, after running all the way, the eyes of the golden lion are getting brighter and brighter. See it. A huge ship is right in front of his eyes. There was a gun emplacement on it, with white smoke, and many shells were launched from this emplacement. After seeing this thing, the golden lion broke out with unprecedented murderous aura. On the other side, in the dead forest, hours have passed. Inside the cocoon, Yi Bei's eyes widened suddenly when the system upgrade reached 100% prompt appeared. Roar. Experimental island. Beach. The golden lion ignored the scars on his body. After seeing the huge ship, he opened his mouth wide, and his roar came from his mouth. Everyone, come on board with me. Destroy all that ship. This roar. All the mutant lions behind him understood. Chi-chi. Whoosh. Dong dong dong. Standing on the beach, all the mutant lions, including the golden lion, retreated and kicked the ground. The legs plunged deep into the sand, making a sneer. But then, the muscles contracted, and the explosive force generated was more powerful. Pushing down hard, the huge body suddenly took off. Dong dong dong. Then, these lions landed on the big ship one by one. Rumble. Especially the golden lion. Seeing the fort being launched, only an unprecedented anger was left in his body. The huge body rushed in the direction of the turret desperately. Rumble. The moment the body collided with the turret, a rumbling sound erupted from the big ship. The powerful body smashed the fort into the air, and the deck made of a mixture of wood cover and iron plate. Under this violent impact, all turned up and became one piece, and the scene instantly became messy. The other mutant lions, under the attack of artillery fire, all fell into madness. They have insufficient IQ. After rushing into the big ship, he regarded the whole ship as the maker of those terrorist bombs. Chi-chi. Booming. Wow. The paws, teeth, and even the body are all used. After a large ship was rushed up by dozens of mutated lions with scars, the entire hull was destroyed directly at a speed visible to the naked eye. 10 minutes later, it was originally a big ship. As a result, even the steel inside was messed up, leaving only a large pile of debris on the sea. And the mutant lions, standing back on the beach again, roaring constantly, seeming to be looking for new targets. Such a scene was naturally transmitted back to the warship on the see-through video. The head of the mercenary organization saw a large ship carrying a large number of weapons and equipped with a smart launching turret. After being dismantled by a group of lions in an instant, he sat in the hull of the warship with muscles on his face. Twitched fiercely. Mutated lion. This size is so big. What a pity. It is a pity. If one can be caught, the whole world will be a sensation. He said in a deep voice. It doesn't matter that a big ship is destroyed. There are hundreds of big ships around the island. Rumble. The bombing continued. It is impossible for the mutant lions led by the Lion King to destroy all the ships. Booming. Mutant beasts died tragically. In the snake den, feeling the death of a large number of mutant beasts, even Wang-Won is not calm. I can't wait to rush out and kill all the mercenaries who come to offend and smash the corpses of those who fired bombs behind their backs. The other side. Death Forest, in cocoons. Laugh. System upgrade 100 is complete. Yi Bei's eyes widened with a snort. Very good. System, what new abilities do you have after this upgrade? Also, since I have become a Titan Python, can I leave this place now? When asked this question, Yi Bei's voice was very excited. 30 days. In order to evolve into a Titan Python, he slept in this cocoon for 30 days. I don't know what is going on the experimental island. But there is one thing Yi Bei believes, that when he will return to the experimental island with the body of a Titan Python, it is estimated that the entire Python clan will be shocked, and the entire experimental island, no matter what mutant beasts are, will surrender. Titan Python, but the legendary ancient Python. Of course the host can leave. But before that, the system will explain the latest features to the host. The voice of the system came. Say it. Yi Bei couldn't wait. This time the system upgrade is completed, and a new attribute point data analysis has been added. The details are as follows. The voice fell, and the familiar screen appeared directly in front of Yi Bei, displaying the latest information of his Yi Bei. But this time, the above information has undergone a very big change. Infinite Evolution System. Name, Yi Bei. Intermediate Species, Titan Python. Ancient Creature, Legendary Existence. Age, 1 year old. Lifespan, 500 years. The number of genes in the first stage of the evolution of Titan Python. 0/1000. The evolution of Titan Python has 7 stages in all stages. Evolution points. 290000/100000. Evolution points. Increase body size and major body data. No longer provide species evolution. Level. LV3. After leveling up, genes can be changed to move towards a higher level of snake-like species. Language. Biological common language. Ability. Full fangs, fire breathing, underwater free movement, enhanced 2 times, backstab. Apostle. 5. Use quantity 2, Wang-Won and Golden Lion respectively. Treasure. Chinkuan bag, with a usable area of 20 square kilometers. Territory. 30 kilometers in diameter. Centered on the location of the host, the spiritual power coverage is all territories. Length. 120 meters. Average body diameter. Body resistance to stress. Level 100. It can withstand the simultaneous explosion of 500 rockets without any damage. Speed. 80 m/section. Strength. 160 t. It can easily lift a weight of 30 t. Weight. 200 tons. Blood value. 100 out of 100. Body damage value. 100 out of 100. Mental strength. 100 out of 100. Prizes: 5 silver treasure chests and 1 platinum treasure chest. Task 1. Destroy the mercenary organization completely. Declare that the Snake Clan is the strongest. Task reward: evolution gene number plus 100. Task 2. The number of snakes grows to 10,000. The task reward: the number of evolution genes plus 100. Task 3. Complete the first stage of evolution of Titan Python. Task reward: evolution gene number plus 100. Task 4. Rescue the female snake. Task reward: the number of evolution genes plus 200. This is the data displayed in front of eBay. Compared with the previous information, many new concepts have been added to it, such as mental power points, genetic evolution points, chi and blood, physical damage, and mental strength. It was not there before. Moreover, the reward for completing the task is no longer a treasure chest, but an evolutionary gene number. This evolution of the system makes eBay somewhat confused. However, seeing that his body's data had improved so much compared to when he was still a bloodstained python, eBay was more excited in his heart. I have a lot of things I don't understand. The system, can I ask you? Try to suppress inner excitement. Chi. eBay spit out Shinzi and asked in a very calm voice. At the same time, at this moment, eBay could feel the unprecedented energy in his body. Ancient creatures, Titan pythons, really deserve their reputation. Death Forest. eBay is conducting a comprehensive understanding of his own data. The vitality value, if I guess it's correct, it refers to the extent to which my body can be injured. 100 points in the full state. No matter where it is injured, the vitality value will decrease. Once the vitality value becomes 0, if I do, I will die. Is that right? Theoretically speaking. However, during the battle, the host can also gain vitality by swallowing. This thing is like a health bar in a game set by humans. Actually, the host also has vitality before. The blood value is just hidden and cannot be seen. It is now directly digitized. Well, mental power points should be the same. Although my mental power is very strong, it is definitely not unlimited. When I used it before, I could faintly feel that every time I use it, my mental power will change. Be weaker. Using mental power will reduce the number. By swallowing and resting, the points will quickly recover. Then, what is the damage value of the body? This concept is something that eBay's IQ is beyond understanding. Logically speaking, mental strength, chi, and blood value, to a certain extent, should be the deeper meaning of physical damage value. Is it unnecessary to add another damage value? The system will never do unnecessary things for no reason. Body damage. Host, don't forget. With your physical strength, although ordinary bombs cannot hurt you, every time you attack, the host's body will actually receive a little damage. Although the number calculation is very small, once it reaches 100 points, it will also pose a certain threat to the host's life. However, the damage value can be replenished the fastest by swallowing prey. The system explained. Okay. Hearing this, eBay's eyes suddenly lit up. Looking at it this way, the numerical concept of the damage value can be said to be very important. In the past, eBay had no concept at all, completely ignoring some small attacks. I didn't expect that when that kind of attack reached a certain number, it would be fatal. But now with this damage value to visualize it, eBay can completely avoid your own decline in this value. It turned out to be like this. This is the truth that accumulates less and more. Small damage can also be accumulated. Okay, system. Now tell me what is going on with evolution points and gene points? I used to devour prey. Can complete the evolution. Why do you need gene points now? eBay asked very seriously. Of course, when this question was asked, eBay actually had a rough judgment in his mind, but he couldn't be sure. What is evolution? In order to adapt to the living environment, the weak continue to grow stronger. But the fundamental is the small changes in the genetic level and the continuous accumulation. The host has swallowed so many organisms before. In fact, it is accumulating genetic points. The evolution point and the gene point are mixed, and there is no detailed separation. Host, think about it. When you devour more prey, the gene does not upgrade, but the body size becomes larger. The reason is simple. One is the evolution point belt. One of the improvements that come is the increase in gene points. The system quickly explained. It turned out to be so. When he heard this, Yibei nodded, and the systematic explanation was similar to what Yibei thought in his heart. Evolved from a small blood python to the current Titan python. There have been too many physical changes in it, but that kind of increase is not the evolution of species. Now that the system was explained in this way, Yibei finally understood what was going on. It turned out that the system had not been upgraded before, and many concepts were general. If they were divided into gene points and evolution points, this would be easy to judge. After asking these questions, Yibei learned a lot. At this moment, he focused on the 4 tasks, all of which are rewarding gene points. But even if it's all done, you won't get 1,000 points. There is one last question, the system. If you want to get gene points, do you have to get them through missions now? If you swallow creatures, you can't do it anymore? Yibei is very serious, but this is seriously related to his Yibei evolution. The speed. Of course not. The mission is just to get genetic evolution points. You can still get points if you swallow prey, but when the same kind of creatures swallow a certain number, the gains of genetic points will gradually decrease. Call. Hearing this, Yibei took a deep breath. That's good. Okay. As for the next words, the most important thing is to complete 4 tasks. The last mission made Yibei very interested. As he turned into a snake and has evolved all the way to the present, Yibei thought that the female snake that was feeding the spirit orb had already died, but this mission emerged from the system. It can completely explain that the female snake is still alive, but I don't know where it is now. After all, the female snake helped Yibei a lot. Saving her is inevitable. Then, let's go back to the experimental island now. I don't know what the situation of the pythons is. With their IQ, within a month, they can put the entire experimental island in an orderly manner. Yibei spit out Shinzi, said lightly. Wow. The sound fell, and the cocoons formed by the vines that wrapped Yibei's body made a rattling noise, and then quickly dispersed. At the same time, countless trees and vines supported Yibei's huge body and placed them on the ground of the death forest. The number of vines is in the hundreds of millions. Surging together, wrapped into a ball and placed Yibei on the ground, the trees and vines opened 3 times, and Yibei's huge body appeared in the middle. Such a scene was extremely shocking. Titan Python, how strong is this body? Yibei continued to spit out the letter. Mind moved. The space right in front of him was crazily twisted, and huge suction power came out from inside. Then Yibei felt that his body was being attracted by this space. This feeling is very strange. But Yibei knew very well that as long as he was sucked in, he would return to the experimental island in the real world, and he was not nervous at all. Chi-Chi. 3 seconds later, Yibei's body completely disappeared from the death forest. At the same time, the space in the middle of the experimental island quickly twisted. Yibei's huge body rushed out of the distorted space without warning. When Yibei appeared, a silver-white lightning struck down from the sky, illuminating the entire world. Yibei's huge body, under the silver-white lightning, appeared like a real king. Rumble. Accompanied by lightning, the bombing of those shells in the sky is like accompaniment fireworks. On the experimental island, the surviving mutant beasts, the golden lion, the entire snake family, and the humans who have not yet died, all stopped at this moment. Haha. Countless eyes looked towards the center of the island. Fear from the soul, surging wanton. Rumble. Wow. Above the sky, the dark clouds pressed very low and followed the first lightning strike, followed by more than 10 lightnings, landing together. The dazzling electric light instantly illuminated the entire island. How is this going? But Yibei, who had just emerged from the death forest, felt a bit inexplicable when he found that more than a dozen lightning bolts struck him. The muscles of the body were all tense. The majestic breath rushed out of the body madly. It's normal. The host changed the species by swallowing genes and became the ancient giant python Titan python that has long disappeared from this world. Naturally, this will not be recognized by the world. It is not surprising that thunder and lightning will come down. However, don't worry about the host. There was a reticulated python transition before, and your body has become unbelievably powerful. This point of lightning cannot harm you at all, and even has a big effect on you. Yibei was stunned, and when he instinctively wanted to avoid these lightning, the sound of the system immediately sounded, not recognized by heaven and earth. Hearing this, Yibei felt that his head couldn't turn around. Isn't this the legendary robbery? But there is not so much time for Yibei to think. Since the system says it's okay, Yibei didn't plan to hide. It occupies part of the body, and the other part is directly erected to meet the dozens of lightning. Close your eyes. Booming, crackling. All the thunder and lightning fell on Yibei's body. Yibei, with his eyes closed, originally thought that his body would suffer unprecedented pain. But when the thunder and lightning fell into his body, the next second, he was staring. Eyeballs. The reason is simple. After being struck by lightning, not only did he not feel any pain, but the whole body was extremely smooth. Chi-Chi. The silver-white lightning, the unprecedented energy of the carrier, after drilling into Yibei's body, it seemed to turn into extremely pure energy, spreading in Yibei's body wantonly, and the energy was along the tendons in Yibei's body. Pulse, wandering quickly. Great. This feeling is so cool. It's like swallowing all the lightning in one bite. Yibei was completely addicted to this feeling. But when Yibei was absorbing these energy and was excited, the voice of the system sounded again. Congratulations to the host for successfully swallowing 11 lightning bolts. Earn 50,000 evolution points. 11 genetic evolution points. The sound of the system is very abrupt. After hearing this voice, Yibei found that his whole body was not well. Is there any mistake? The evolution of devouring organisms is enough. Devouring thunder and lightning can also allow the body to gain evolution points and gene points. And the number is not low. Infinite evolution system. It can be renamed the infinite devouring system. You can eat anything. Although I want to vomit in my heart, but deep in my heart, there is more excitement, and it can evolve to swallow thunder and lightning. Is this feeling like a bunker? I just don't know whether my body can discharge after devouring these lightning. Yibei feels good here, feeling the majestic power brought by thunder and lightning excitedly. But at the moment, the entire experimental island was silent. The cannonballs that keep falling in the air seem to be still in this one. On the battleship, the head of the mercenary base was stunned after seeing the scene in the video. In the hall, the high levels of the mercenary base were also stunned. On the experimental island, the surviving humans, looking at the center, swallowed frantically, stunned, unable to do anything. During the bombing, the mutant beasts who were still alive trembled and their eyes straightened. As for the snakes hiding in the cave, there are also golden lions on the beach, frantically looking for ships in the sea. Their eyes flickered constantly. Especially the golden lion, water mist appeared in his pupils. Roar. A loud roar broke out in his mouth. This is the breath of the king. Who? In the next second, the golden lion took the mutant lion group that was still alive and swished towards Yibei's direction. Chi-Chi. Wong. Finally back. Wong uttered a letter. His head showed the snake hole. Looking at Yibei's current appearance, he didn't dare to hesitate at all. When he murmured this, he quickly got out of the snake hole. ZZZ. As for the more than 1,000 reticulated pythons, the same is true. Zizi's voice instantly filled the island. All eyes are on Yibei. In the middle of the island, Yibei's more than 100-meter-long body, under the thunder and lightning, seemed like a descended on. Roar. Yibei was also roaring. With his mouth wide open, bursts of roar came out. However, he roared completely because it felt so cool when he absorbed the lightning. Yibei was excited, but soon discovered something was wrong. Many bombs are landing in the air. The air of the island is filled with a strong smell of blood. The smell of gunpowder, mixed with the smell of blood, spread wantonly. It seems that humans have already attacked. Chi-Chi. Yibei spit out Shinzi, and after a little observation of the surroundings, he immediately knew that it was a human. Wow. Immediately afterwards, the boundless mental power spread out from Yi-Bei, covering all the 30 kilometers around the body. Humanity. The mutant beast of death. Bomb in the air. Ships docked on the shore. Snake family hiding in the cave. Avoid the bomb. The mutant beast lucky to survive. There were big pits exploded by bombs everywhere. Under the heavy rain, water kept standing. Because of the death of mutant beasts, the water in those pools was dark red. After the mental power dissipated, seeing this scene, an immense anger radiated from Yi-Bei's body. Wangwon, Golden Lion, Chunhwa Qyu, have fun. You all come out for me. Roar. These words came out directly. Chi-Chi. Then, the muscles on Yi-Bei's body changed rapidly, exploding with terrible power. The speed of 80 meters per second is directly displayed. Whoosh whoosh. Rumble. The huge body rose into the air, and all the bombs around Yi-Bei's body were shot and exploded in the air under the impact of this huge body. Demon. This is definitely a devil. On the battleship, the general manager of the mercenary base saw this place, his body trembling constantly, and his mouth murmured constantly. Those high levels also turned pale in fright. The scene before me is really shocking and incredible. It's a sci-fi movie of bite, but also sci-fi. However, just when they were shocked to the extreme, a cold voice rang out in all their ears at the same time. In the next moment, their trembling bodies stopped. Deathly silence. Wow. The torrential rain continued. Those raindrops fell on the leaves and on the ground, making a rattling sound. Rumble. However, these voices were instantly drowned out. The experimental island, the central location, the scene happening here, is completely beyond any biological understanding. A huge python. The whole body is gray and black. That huge body burst out of unprecedented power. Bang, bang, bang. He was not afraid of any shells falling in the air, and he directly resisted with his body. With every impact, there was a bang. Bang, bang, bang. Use your body to pump the bomb away. Some bombs exploded directly next to his body, but this did not affect his speed at all or wound it. On the contrary, it made his aura stronger, even faster. Can you believe this situation? A snake? Flying bombs? Of course, it is mainly the bombs that can be obtained by this mercenary organization, which are not very powerful, just like rocket bombs. But what's so special? That's also a bomb. The snake's body shoots bombs. What's so special? Should you be so crazy? Whoosh whoosh. Yi-Bei used his body's speed to its extreme. After the explosion, all bombs within 500 meters of his body were swept away by him within 10 seconds. After doing this, waiting for the Golden Lion and Snake Clan to come out, Yi-Bei did not idle. The powerful mental power directly broke through the scope of the domain, spread to the sea, and instantly found the battlefield where the head of the mercenary base was located. Experimental Island. Are you destroying it? Destroying it. Humans, let's talk. What is your purpose here? The powerful mental power, gathered into such a paragraph, passed directly into the minds of those people. Rumble. Because of the appearance of Yi-Bei, the general manager of the mercenary base had stopped the button. The bombs that had been launched before, accompanied by Yi-Bei's voice, all fell together, and the explosion sounded across the experimental island. Many surviving mutant beasts died. This caused Yi-Bei, who had returned to the experimental island, to increase his murderous aura again. Cold murderous, madness scattered, the sea, the warship, in the hall. You guys, have you heard anything? The head of the mercenary base was motionless, his face pale as white paper. His eyes widened when he said this. I heard the sound too. That voice is so powerful. Experimental Island. You destroyed it. Humans, let's talk. What is your purpose here? Is this the sentence? Okay. When a high-ranking mercenary retold Yi-Bei's words completely, the hall was extremely silent. Hoo-hoo. Only heavy gasps can be heard. At the same time, a lot of memories reverberated crazily in their minds. For the first time, a small group of mercenary organizations entered the island. When they died, the team members were all talking to a snake. The second time, a tourist group was caught from the sea and sent to the island. When a giant snake appeared, those people also talked to themselves. For the third time, 120 mercenaries came to the island, and they were also talking. Could it be? Could it be? Not because they were scared, not talking to themselves, but really communicating with animals? After thinking of this, all the seniors on the battleship, all the muscles on their faces were twitching. Fear, shocked, incredible. Numerous kinds of emotions are emerging crazily. Who is talking? In fear, the head of the mercenary base was the first to speak. With his mouth open, his body turned on the spot, and he kept looking around, roaring constantly. Who? Who is it? Are you kidding? Mutant beasts can also speak? Don't hide. Come out for me. Those high levels are hysterical. Experimental island. Right in the middle. Wow. Shoot all the bombs in the air. When all the bombs in the air no longer appeared, the Golden Lion, the Snake Clan, and the mutant beasts that were still alive rushed towards Ibei's position. Of course, at this time, there are also some surviving mercenaries. The number will never exceed 20 people. Seeing the mutant beasts receding, they were scared, and while calling God in their minds, they ran towards the beach frantically, wanting to find ships, wanting to leave the island as fast as possible. Never want to stay there anymore, even a quarter of an hour here. King Chi-Chi. The Snake Clan came over, brought by Wang Wan, Chunhua Chioyue, and the 9 boa constrictors, more than 1,000 mutant reticulated pythons entangled in the huge pit after the bomb exploded. Their eyes focused on Ibei, vomiting to the letter, shouted neatly. King! Roar! The Golden Lion also came, with a huge body, a terrible roar, and blood on his body. The mutant lions following him were not much better in appearance, but there were 32 mutant lions still alive, and the loss was not too great. Chi-Chi. Fur. Ho ho ho. Ouch. A large number of mutant beasts gathered and looked at Ibei, full of fear. Even if all the ground was washed away by the rain, they did not dare to crawl on the ground hesitantly, and they made a low cry in their mouths, is begging Ibei to help them get revenge. Huh. Experimental island, middle. Ibei's gaze swerved and swept over all the mutant beasts around him. None of the snakes died. Nearly 20 mutant lions died. As for the other mutant beasts, it can be said that they have suffered heavy losses. Even some of the mutant beasts were all destroyed, and none of them survived. Ordinary beasts can be psychic. These mutant beasts have improved IQ, and naturally needless to say more about their spirituality. Ibei's arrival and the powerful aura that showed them made it clear to them that now only Ibei can lead them to revenge. Everyone, come with me. Chi-Chi. Ibei spit out the letter, no longer wordy. His huge body took the initiative to walk in the forefront. Wow. Zizi. Booming. Behind him, the group of snakes, the group of lions, and the group of mutated beasts that were still alive quickly followed, making a huge vibration in the entire forest. Don't worry. From now on, you will all be fine. All humans who have slaughtered the experimental island will die. They will pay the absolute price for today's behavior. Chi-Chi. While moving fast, Ibei said lightly. At first I was familiar with it, but his body was attacked by a lot of lightning and scathed. Then, directly used that huge body to shoot bombs. Ibei's strength had already made all mutant beasts surrender before. Especially, after a month, although Ibei's appearance all day has changed, it can even be said that he has changed a species, but the aura on his body is still the same as before. Of course, it has become more powerful. As long as the Python King goes out, all humans will undoubtedly die. This is a belief. Of course, when speaking, Ibei's powerful mental power was still crazy and surging, communicating with the high-level mercenaries on the battleship. Rumble. The sky, gloomy, torrential rain and thunder are still frantic. However, the dazzling lightning bolt just kept slashing above the sea and did not attack Ibei again. Experimental island. The white smoke, floating upwards in wisps, mixed with the water mist of the rainstorm, When viewed from a distance, it was hazy. Many big trees were torn into pieces under the attack of artillery fire and scarred. Such a scene, if viewed from a distance, is no exaggeration to say it is shocking. At the same time, the air was filled with a strong smell of gunpowder smoke and blood. The smell of blood blends with the smell of gunpowder. ZZ. Puff puff. A gray-black python with a length of more than 100 meters, with its head tilted back, more than two-thirds of its body, crawling on the ground. Its body presents an S shape, and its strong muscles are constantly contracting and moving forward rapidly. Is there a bomb pit filled with rain in front? He rushed over with a puff. There is silt in front? At this extreme speed, there is no way to stop it. When rushing quickly, it only leaves a ravine more than 2 meters deep on the ground. Behind this giant python, there are also more than 1,000 giant mutant reticulated python groups. Every snake, the shortest is now 15 meters, and the longest is nearly 60 meters. Snake Tribe Army, mighty. Behind the snake tribe, there are various mutant beasts. Angry, murderous, roar. Among these mutant beasts, madness spread. The eyes were hit by the rainstorm, and the body slapped in the rainstorm, but this couldn't stop them at all, but the speed became faster. Rumble. Under the impact of the python in front of the big trees in front of them, I don't know how many of them were hit and collapsed, and their roots were all uprooted. Rumble. Wow. The sound of thunder, the sound of running, and all kinds of roars converge into one piece. In addition, more than 20 mercenaries who are still alive are also running wildly. The direction is also the edge of the island. Fast. There are demons on this island. Run. I don't want to die yet. Asshole. What kind of monster is that? Okay, what a big snake. Selling karma. God, I swear, I will never come to this mysterious island again. Those surviving human beings kept making such noises when they were running, and because of fear, when they spoke, their voices trembled and the muscles on their faces were crazily twisted. However, they don't have the powerful body of the mutant beast. Many humans fell into the crater while escaping and kept crying for help, but the others, completely ignored, did not dare to look back, knowing that the person who fell into the crater was drowned alive. Moreover, to prevent dangerous craters ahead, some of the more powerful mercenaries even took out submachine guns, pointed at other players, and let them run in the front to find the way to live. These 20-odd mercenaries running wildly can be said to have performed human nature to the extreme. On the other side, above the sea, a warship shook in response to the huge wind and waves. In the hall on the first floor of the warship, it was quite stable. It was obvious that the ship had undergone a special transformation. It's just that at this moment, the humans standing in this hall look more terrified than the mercenaries desperately running away on the experimental island. In the lobby, there is a screen. It was the unmanned aircraft that captured the situation on the experimental island. A huge python. I don't know the species of the python. It is running fast in front, even faster than the drone. Behind the python, the Snake Clan army and mutant beasts are densely packed, murderous. These are the second, the most terrifying, or the sound that rang in their minds. Humans. From the moment you slaughtered the creatures on the experimental island, you will undoubtedly die. Today, use your lives to sacrifice. The powerful mental power is structured into a special electric wave. The deep voice resounded in the minds of these seniors again. But this time, the head of the mercenary organization finally reacted, with his mouth wide open, and after looking around without any other creatures, his pair of bright red eyes stared at the screen in the hall. You. Who are you? Is that Python? You monster. The voice screamed. When speaking, his body quickly moved back away from the screen. Boss, I feel something is wrong. Let's retreat. Yes. Retreat. We are on the ocean. Those monsters can't catch up. Move. Can't stay any longer. The high levels of the organization, their teeth were trembling when they spoke, and mysterious voices resounded in their minds. The wild beasts on the experimental islands, the mercenaries sent to carry out missions, carried a lot of weapons, but the final result, few survived. At this moment, these high levels finally realized how terrible things were. They provoke a group of terrible monsters in order to obtain the genes of the mutant beasts and sell them for money. This is absolutely the funniest joke. The strength of those beasts has completely exceeded their expectations and is even stronger than they thought. Countless times, investing so much, but in exchange for the destruction of the entire organization. Escape. Now, in their hearts, there is only one word, and that is to run away. How far to escape? However, the roar of these high levels did not move the head of the mercenary organization. Can't go. No one can go. Once we leave, everything is over. We still have a large number of ships docked on the shore. As long as I press the button, a large number of shells will continue to bomb the experimental island. Having invested so much, we must get what we want. The person in charge growled. Eyes are blood red. The voice had a terrifying killing intent. In fact, since the mercenary squads were wiped out by the alien beasts as soon as they entered the experimental island, the person in charge had already made up his mind. The mercenary organization is over. His whole life's hard work is finished. Although it was a mistake in decision-making and tasks, he would never admit it. Now that it starts, let's go. A decisive battle. What's more, in the hands of the person in charge, there is the last powerful weapon. This is the key to negotiating with the mutant beasts. On the controller in his hand, a finger has been quietly placed on a white button above. The high-level mercenaries wanted to escape, but faced with the strength of the chief executive, they didn't dare to speak much. How powerful and crazy this man is. Over the years, they have felt deeply. Want to kill me? The end result is that you all die. No matter who you are, I think we should talk about it. Then, the person in charge looked around and shouted loudly. Since the mutant beast is wise, he believes that the other party will have a good talk. Just at the moment on the experimental island, Yibei and his group of mutant beasts have gathered on the beach. This beach was personally chosen by Yibei. The sea in front of him is where the high-level mercenary organization is. A large warship. The sea, because of the storm, whistling wind and huge waves, constantly beating the beach. Had it not been for the dark clouds, what happens here on the experimental island today will definitely be monitored by the satellites of various countries in the human world. ZZ. On the beach, nearly half of Yibei's body was covered by seawater, and the other half of his body was erected high. The waves slapped his body, making a sizzling sound. A lot of torrential rain fell on Yibei's body, rattling. Chi-Chi. The scarlet letter was spit out from his mouth, making a snoring sound. After evolving into a titan python, the two sharp fangs at the corners of the mouth were all taken in, but at the moment when the letter was spitting out, that huge body, huge head, there are also two neat rows of teeth in the mouth, which is even more frightening. Wang, you are very good, at least to ensure the safety of the snakes. Also, Golden Lion, don't be so reckless next time. Although the courage is very good, but under the power gap, knowing that it is a mortal behavior, if you have to pass, it is silly. Preserving your strength is the most important thing. Looking at the warship on the ocean, Yibei spit out a letter and said indifferently to the Golden Lion and Wang. At the same time, the mental power spread rapidly. Titan Python has a spiritual power range of 30 kilometers in diameter, centered on Yibei. So at this moment, when Yibei was entrenched on the beach, the domain was opened directly, and the situation on the battleship came to his mind very clearly. However, such unscrupulous use of mental power caused the value of mental power intensity to drop by 10 points. Yes, King. Roar. The Golden Lion growled. Wang, those human beings are too hateful. The ecological environment we have worked so hard to build has been destroyed by them, and we must eat all of them today. I can't let go of one. Wang also entangled his body, ignoring the rainstorm. Shocked, looking at the warship on the sea coldly, the scarlet letter child kept spitting out. If not, these humans come over. Control the mutant monkeys on the island, constantly catch the fish in the sea, and provide food to the mutant beasts on the entire island. Just wait for some time. The power on the island will definitely be stronger, especially since they have begun to slowly the study of human technology. But now everything is ruined. The experimental island was covered by bombs. There were craters everywhere, and the smell of gunpowder smoke everywhere. The number of mutant beasts still alive does not exceed 3,000. This result made Wang Wen extremely angry, wishing to completely destroy all human beings. Don't let it go. Yibei nodded lightly. After listening to Wang Wen's words, his mood is still a little bit complicated. After all, he was also a human before. Suddenly, when he heard a python using the word head to describe humans, he always felt a little strange. But after thinking about it a little bit, Yibei was relieved again. Humans think that they are high above and treat all the creatures on the earth as a prey object, even self-comforting professed advanced animals. If one day, the snake clan that I lead really pulls humans down from the deep pool, what will they end up? Thinking of this, Yibei felt that his heartbeat had accelerated and his emotions became more complicated. You all be quiet. Wait here. Chi-Chi. Yibei spit out Shinzi and continued. Thinking about the relationship between human beings and oneself is of no use now, so we can solve the immediate problems first. You know, the system has released missions, completely destroying mercenary organizations, declaring the strongest snake clan, mission rewards, and evolutionary gene number plus 100. These 100 points, the number of genetic evolution, he must get. Now that the entire battleship was within his Yibei's domain, Yibei naturally began to carefully observe the situation inside the battleship. Da-da-da. In heavy rain, the raindrops fell on the ground. Like bullets, the sound of clattering. As for the snake tribe, the golden lion, and the living mutant beasts, after hearing Yibei's order, they all waited on the beach, not daring to say anything. Under the field, Yibei could see everything inside the warship very clearly. This warship is very large, with 80 components made of steel, and the other part is hardwood. The ship is automatically controlled. There were only 3 people in the entire control room, 1 captain and 2 helmsmen. In the hull of the warship, there are 9 single chairs. On each chair, there is a man sitting. These people are very murderous, and many of them have terrible scars on their faces. At first sight, they are not good people. Call. After roughly reading the situation, Yibei took a deep breath. To be honest, I was just an ordinary human being, living a comfortable life and making a lot of money. I never thought that one day I would fight against these murderous mercenaries. I never thought that I was actually a snake. Sorry, we don't have anything to talk about. I know where your base is located. Today you destroyed the experimental island, and you all have to pay for it. So, go to death. Roar. Yibei was entwined with his body. His body tens of meters high stood up, twisting slightly in the storm. A loud roar came from his mouth, passing frantically towards the warship. Earlier, the senior members of the mercenary organization heard Yibei's voice directly in their minds. But this time, Yibei's roar penetrated the rainstorm, overwhelmed the thunder, and rushed in the direction of the warship frantically. Then, it resounded very clearly in the ears of those high levels. On the battleship, hearing the low roar from Yibei and feeling the majestic murderous intent, all his faces were shocked. Snake. A python. Why did you start talking? The sound is still so loud? Their worldview was completely subverted. It was even more shocking than seeing the python breathing fire through the video. I don't care who you are, but you have already seen the power of human weapons. Let us leave and send a living mutant python over. We can treat it as nothing has happened, completely forget this island and want to kill us. If you do, you have to think carefully. As long as the button in my hand is pressed, all the information on the experimental island will be automatically transmitted to the world via radio. At that time, all of you will not survive. The person in charge, after hearing Yibei's voice, had completely lost control. His voice was hysterical. At this time, it even threatened. Push the button? The thing about the experimental island was exposed? Hearing this, the chill in Yibei's eyes became more violent. These humans are so tired. You are waiting here. Chi-Chi, spit out the letter, and said to the snake tribe and mutant beasts, "Whoosh." In the next instant, Yi Bei's huge body exploded to its extreme speed and rushed into the sea with a swish, and the huge body sank directly in. This, behind him, the entire snake clan, seeing this scene, felt incredible. "King, what is this going to do?" Whoosh whoosh. As Yi Bei dived into the sea, his eyes widened. Because of opening the treasure chest before, Yi Bei can now move freely in the sea. Moreover, due to evolution, the ability has been strengthened twice. On land, Yi Bei's maximum speed is 80 m/sec, but in the sea, the speed is directly doubled. Flexible body. When he rushed out, terrible white waves were thrown on the surface of the sea. In the experimental island, on the beach, Wang Wan, Chunhua Qyu, looking for pleasure, 9 pythons stared at Yi Bei, who dived into the sea. "It's incredible. Snakes can swim on the water. This kind of thing can indeed be done. But diving directly, submerging into the sea, and advancing fast in it, this is completely beyond the scope of understanding." In this month, the 9 pythons tried their best and even thought of plundering human ships to expand the scope of their territory, because the snake tribe could not march too long on the sea. Now, Yi Bei's dived directly into the bottom of the sea, which was absolutely shocking to the snake tribe. But, thinking that Yi Bei's mouth spurted out flames, these pythons calmed down again. "King, omnipotent. This is not. I haven't seen it in just a month, and my body length has doubled. I don't know how much stronger my body is than before. Chi-Chi, look at it quietly, everyone. Those human beings will not stay at all." Wang Wen spit out the letter in a very small voice. The sea on the ship. The head of the mercenary base saw that after Yi Bei entered the sea, an unprecedented breath of death spread in his mind. Intuition told him that he was in big trouble today. "Quickly, sail." "Damn it, where did that snake go? How can there be such a monster in this world?" "Shoot the cannon on the sea." Fear spreads. The general manager of this mercenary base was a little confused. Resolutely never retreat before. Now it's yelling back. Obviously, the control right to control the launch of the weapon was in his hands, but he called for people to fire the cannon into the sea. In fact, it wasn't just the person in charge who had abnormal emotions. On the entire warship, the high-level mercenary organizations, including the pilot and helmsman who sailed, all had panic in their minds. The human beings who wander on the edge of death all the year round are often stronger than wild beasts in warning of imminent danger. Yi Bei's mental power just covered. After diving into the sea, the terrible killing intent was released because of anger. Although these are all intangible, if they act together, the impact will be huge. "Boss, the control is in your hands." "Damn it, that python seems to be rushing towards us, and I saw the waves that he was making." "Back. Attack." The high levels finally reacted slightly and roared. The head of the mercenary organization deserves to be able to achieve this position. He lost his mind for a moment, and at this moment, he immediately recovered, replaced by a look of indifference and killing intent. "Damn beast. If you are looking for death, then I will fulfill you." There was a cold light in the eyes. Teeth clenched. After the momentum came back, he held the controller in one hand and quickly rushed to the smart console on the other side. Use the laser on the warship to lock onto the waves set off by Yi Bei. Drop. The finger pressed a button. In the next second, on the ships docked around the experimental island that had not been destroyed, the turrets spun up automatically, looking for the latest direction. Whoosh whoosh. After the target was locked, all the ships were swishing out of cannonballs. At this moment, in the sea, whoosh. Yi Bei's huge body was swimming in the sea at an incredible speed, eyes wide open. Because he was able to move around freely, he was in the ocean and he was able to breathe very freely. A large number of fish swam by. The sight became extremely clear in the sea, even thousands of meters away. All kinds of fish made Yi Bei, who entered the sea, excited. "I have always focused my eyes on the experimental island. It seems that the sea is also a piece of fertile soil. If you swallow fish here, different kinds of fish definitely represent different gene numbers. As long as you devour it crazy, evolution will definitely be faster. Chi-Chi. In the sea, Yibei's Shinzi stretched out and dived into the bottom of the sea this time, allowing him to open up a new world. The sea is rich and colorful in all kinds of magical environments. But, excited, Yibei quickly remained calm again. It's not the time to wander in the sea. The key is to solve the warship as soon as possible and swallow all the humans inside. The first task of the system must be completed well. The spiritual realm expands. Yibei was sure of the situation on the battleship. Whizzing. In the blink of an eye, he rushed out more than 1,000 meters. Only 3 kilometers away from the warship. 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds. At his current speed, he was only 2 seconds away from hitting that warship. Murderous. Booming. In addition, as Yibei moved fast, a large number of bombs exploded behind him. The rumbling sound sent waves hundreds of meters high on the sea. Yibei's moving speed is too fast. Although those bombs locked Yibei, they couldn't hit. Boss, stop. Stop launching bombs. The monster is too close to us. Calm down, boss. Buying. If you continue to fire, those bombs will directly blow up our ship. On the battleship, those high-level officials found that the bomb could not hit the snake at all, and when they found that the python was getting closer and closer to the battleship, their voices were a little hysterical. Wow, it's just too late. As the voices of these high-levels fell, there was a huge rattling noise around the battleship. In the wheelhouse of the battleship, the captain and the 2 helmsmen were pale. What is that? Weird monster. God, what the is this? They were responsible for sailing the boat, and they knew very little information. After seeing the outside through the glass of the wheelhouse, their bodies were stunned, and their eyes were almost staring. Even one of the helmsmen, his legs softened, fell to the ground on the spot, his hands trembling on the ground, his legs kicked hard, trying to escape. Because, right in front of them, a giant python with a body diameter of more than 3 meters rushed out of the sea. There is no end to the length of the body. In the sea, how can we prevent them from fearing such monsters? As for the high-level mercenary organization and the person in charge, after seeing Yibei's body at such a close distance, they fell off their seats. Wow! In the sea area around the warship, waves tens of meters high turned up and hit the sides of the warship, making a rattling noise. Rumble. In the sky, the dark clouds are still there, thunder and heavy rain continue. From time to time, a flash of lightning lit up, illuminating the entire world. In this environment, a gray-black python with a length of more than 100 meters rose directly from the sea into the sky. The super long body immediately rolled up the warship. Chi-Chi. The scarlet letter spit out from his mouth. Huh. The huge head swept lightly on the battleship, directly overturning the obscuring iron sheet. Beneath the iron sheet, it is the high-level members of the mercenary base and the person in charge. The bombs launched from around the experimental island have all fallen into the sea, and apart from exploding huge waves and adding special effects, nothing gushes out. Da-da-da. The fierce rainstorm, after the iron sheet on the battleship was overturned, fell on the top of the mercenary organization. 10 pairs of eyes. 10 people. He raised his head, braved the heavy rain, and stared at Yibei. Hoo-hoo-hoo. When they saw Yibei's terrifying body, their breathing made a rapid sound. 120 meters long python. 310 centimeters in diameter. If I just used numbers to describe it before, these high-level mercenaries didn't have much idea. But now, Yibei's huge head is just above them. When they stood in front of Yibei, they were as small as ants. It could even be expected that as long as Yibei breathed in, they would all die, without any hope of survival. Hoo! The sound of inhaling. At this moment, the atmosphere was extremely strange. Chi-Chi. Yibei was snorting and spitting out the letter, a strong smell of blood emanating from his mouth, making these high-level people even more fearful. Roar. No excessive nonsense. After discovering that these high-level people had been frightened, Yibei opened his mouth wide, and then he let out a roar. Chi 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 chi. In the next second, sharp fangs protruded from his mouth in the blink of an eye. A volume of scarlet letters. A high-level mercenary organization was easily caught by Yi Bei. Puff. The sharp fangs directly pierced the body of this high-rise building, and the bright red blood, accompanied by heavy rain, all fell on the battleship. Gulyulu. It penetrated the high-level man, and then swallowed it in one bite, making a grunting sound. Gulyulu. While swallowing, bright red blood continued to flow on both sides of the mouth. Da-da-da. It fell on the deck of the warship. The breath of death arbitrarily enveloped these people who were still alive. What? Finally, a high-level executive lost control completely, and a scream broke out. He held his head with both hands, and his eyes were all bloodshot. Thump. His legs thumped and knelt on the ground. I don't want to die. Don't eat me. The voice roared. To be honest, the taste of humans is really good. Chi-Chi. After watching these human beings, after swallowing one of them, Yi Bei spit out Shinzi again and said such a sentence. These human beings, killing so many mutant beasts on the island, is absolutely indispensable. Although Yi Bei now eats those mutant beasts, it is basically impossible to get gene points, but he can get a lot of evolution points. Evolution points can be used to strengthen his body and become stronger. Therefore, today is not only to kill these humans, but also to make them regret and pain. Okay. However, when Yi Bei uttered such a sentence, the senior members of the mercenary organizations trembled violently. Really, you are talking? Can a python speak? Unbelievable. You monster. God, this is crazy. This is definitely a nightmare. Such voices came out of their mouths one after another. But the head of the mercenary organization, at this time, was a little calmer. After analyzing the situation of the experimental island several times before, he knew that the mutant creatures here really had the ability to speak. So at this moment, after hearing Yi Bei's voice in front of him, he retained that little sense of reason. Shut up. First, the high-level members of the mercenary organization said, Huh. Then I didn't know where the courage came from, and he turned his gaze on Yi Bei. No matter what kind of monster you are, as long as you dare to kill us today, you are absolutely dead. Ordinary bombs can't kill you, but human technology is definitely more than this. There are even more powerful bombs. If you kill us, here all the information will be sent out, and your end will be? That responsible person is very popular. Roar. However, before he could finish his threat, Yi Bei was already impatient. A loud roar erupted from his mouth. Too much nonsense. Chi 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 chi. In the next second, the sharp fangs were like skewers of mutton, and a few sniffs pierced all the high levels of the mercenary organization and strung them together. In the volume of scarlet letters, these humans all became the food in his Yi Bei's mouth. You. The head of the surviving mercenary organization stared at the scene in disbelief. Eat people if they don't agree. Do you want to be so crazy? However, the next thing is crazier behind. Zizi. Wow. Originally, Yi Bei's body had already entangled this warship. After devouring the high levels of those mercenary organizations and replenishing the energy, the muscles in his body began to contract violently. The power of 160T burst out from the body in an instant, that terrible power and a hard body, so that the entire hull screamed. In less than 3 seconds, the original huge steel warship, under such terrible power, made a clattering sound, and it disintegrated directly on the sea and turned into a lot of fragments. The head of the mercenary organization fell into the sea with endless fear. But in order to survive, his hands were flapping against the waves desperately. As for the 3 tragic humans who were driving the ship, when the warship was crushed by Yi Bei, they were crushed directly into sludge. The bright red blood, mixed with yellow and white, all fell into it. In the sea, it becomes the food of the sea fish. Experimental Island, on the beach. The golden lion, the spring flowers and autumn moons, the pleasure-seeking, and the mutant beasts all became excited after seeing this situation. Of course, There was an unprecedented shock in his eyes. Wong, the strength demonstrated today has opened their eyes. However, what they did not expect, including Yi Bei, was the situation on the experimental island was actually passed out as the chief of the mercenary base said. On the other side of the earth, a luxurious office, a man with supreme power, looking at the information in the computer, cold sweat on his forehead. The office is huge. All the hanging on the walls are precious calligraphy and paintings, and the value is calculated in 100 million. On the middle wall of the office, there is a chandelier decorated with diamonds, which shines extremely brightly. There is only one man in the entire office. The man combed his classic 3 or 7 minutes, and his hair reflected a ray of light under the chandelier. He was wearing a white shirt and black tie. He wore black suit trousers and a pair of leather shoes that could be used as mirrors. There is a deep scar at the corner of his eyes, and his eyes are long and narrow. Just sitting here gives the whole person a cold, insensitive breath. This man, no more than 40 years old, an authentic white man. Just now, sitting in front of the desk and watching the information coming back from the computer, his forehead was constantly sweating, and the hand holding the mouse was shaking slightly, with his extremely cold image, totally inconsistent. Fear, shocked, excited. At this moment, there were too many emotions in his eyes. Experimental island, mercenary base, mutant beast, the mutant python group, mutant lion, a python that can breathe fire, the talking beast. These information madly impacted his head, making him feel that the speed of his heartbeat was beginning to increase exponentially. Unbelievable. There is such a thing in this world. It seems that the experiment was successful in that place. The idiotic US government actually designated it as a life-restricted zone. It seems that the people in the mercenary organization are all dead. In order to be cheap, a group of idiots. However, sacrificing these idiots in exchange for these materials is worth it. I have made a fortune. This world is about to change. Constantly flipping through the information. At the same time, excitement kept coming out of the man's mouth. He, the big boss behind the mercenary organization, has been funding the real boss of the mercenary organization near the experimental island. The sea. Puff, puff. The head of the mercenary organization, his hands were constantly flapping the waves, making a puff, puff sound. Around his body, all the planks on top of the shattered warship were densely packed. Looking at Yi Bei's huge body. At this moment, the person in charge was completely desperate. Those high levels who had followed him for many years were killed by this python in an instant. Now he is like a lamb to be slaughtered, and even he can clearly feel that his life is passing fast. Regret, pain, and anger, madly boiling in his mind. Money, interest. These things are constantly being measured in his heart. The power of the mutant beast group taught him the worst lesson. At this moment, deep in his heart, he deeply realized how stupid his previous behavior was. If he was given another chance, even if he died, he would not provoke the monsters on the experimental island. But now, there is no room for regret. Ha ha ha. When he was terrified of fear and regret, this guy slapped the waves with his hands and finally was still under the storm. This guy didn't know what was going on. His eyes stared at Yi Bei, who was swimming towards him. His mouth laughed out loud. You monster. What if you kill me? I tell you, everything here has been exposed. After I die, with that guy's character, you will all be buried for me. Continue to speak. Yes, when Yi Bei jumped into the sea before, the person in charge knew that he was incapable of escape today. At that time, he pressed the white button and passed all the information that the mercenary base had on the experimental island. Get out. Exposed? When Yi Bei rushed towards the chief of the mercenary organization, the domain was always open. Through analyzing the look and tone of this guy's eyes, Yi Bei determined that this person didn't tell lies. If it was before, the experimental island was completely exposed, and Yi Bei was still a little worried. But now, Yi Bei is not worried at all. He has a bag of heaven and earth and a dead forest, and his body can move freely in the sea. Even if the whole world knows about its existence, what can it do? If you really can't fight, wouldn't it be hiding? Chi-Chi. The scarlet letter spit out. Human, you better go to die. Laugh. After rushing to the front of the person in charge, Shinzi rolled it up and easily rolled the person in charge into his mouth. The sharp fangs snorted twice, piercing the body of the person in charge. The violent toxins were all injected into this guy's body along the pipes in the fangs, and the violent toxins instantly made his skin black. Click. After being involved in his mouth, Yi-Bei didn't directly swallow at this time, instead relying on part of the human consciousness. Using the 2 rows of teeth that grew out of his mouth, he directly chewed on the head of the mercenary organization. Click, click, click. The bone was bitten and rattled. Bright red blood was flowing in Yi-Bei's mouth. As for those filthy things, with the help of the system, the moment they entered Yi-Bei's mouth, they were all erased. Click, click. In the sea, nearly 2/3 of Yi-Bei's body dived into the water. When he was chewing on the head of the mercenary organization, his eyes were looking at the situation on the sea extremely indifferently. The warship was torn to pieces. Under the storm, huge waves continued to beat. At this moment, all the mercenary organizations that looked like flies have been wiped out. Such an idea came out secretly in my heart. But, just as Yi-Bei was about to move toward the experimental island, the sound of the system suddenly resounded in his mind. Congratulations to the host for successfully digging and completing Mission 1, completely destroying the mercenary organization and gaining plus 100 gene points. System reminder, dear host, when he evolved into a Titan Python, he once obtained a platinum treasure chest. May I ask whether the host is open? The system said 2 sentences in a row. Yi-Bei was quite calm when he heard the 100 genetic points. However, the following reminder made Yi-Bei's eyes suddenly light up. I was busy evolving to become a Titan Python. Then I returned to the island and found that everything had changed. I always forgot that I still had a platinum treasure chest. You must know that when you opened the platinum treasure chest last time, you got the Chinkuin back. This time, if you turn it on, what will you get? Yi-Bei's heart was looking forward to it. Then, open the platinum treasure chest. This time, Yi-Bei didn't say anything to the system as he swam toward the experimental island. The mercenary organization passed the information of the experimental island to the human world. It can be expected that there will be huge troubles next. Of course, besides that, Yi-Bei himself will also bring the Snake Tribe army back to the human world. Although strong, it is far from enough. This time the contents of the treasure chest were absolutely vital to him, Yi-Bei. The voice fell. A platinum treasure box, bursting with dazzling light, appeared directly in front of Yi-Bei.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe.